That's comedian Al Jackson. Al's going to be part of the bill Friday night, October 25th at the Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort Event Center. We're talking Larchwood, Iowa, near Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Of course, it'll be Patty G, Al Jackson, Jeff Oskey, and your host, Josh Arnold. What a big night. That's going to be great.
But for right now, Al Jackson, Iowa, is between the vines of the friendly confines of his home studio. Yes, sir.
Now, Al, before we get to it, Al's function on this program, of course, is to help me get a little bit hipper. As you can see, it's not working. Al, your lady friend is a
school teacher.
She works for a professional baseball team.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So is she also, since that particular team is not in the playoffs, is she actively having you watch these games?
You know, the baseball playoffs have been so good. Well, obviously, I'm a Guardians/Indians fan. So I'm watching the games for that reason. But the playoffs in baseball have been so good this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a difference in intensity, and I've never been a baseball fan, and maybe it's Stockholm syndrome, but I love it, man. I've been digging them.
Yeah, right. In the Guardians down 2-0, and they play.
Yeah, we're going to get one tonight.
Yes,
yeah, we're going to get one tonight.
In Cleveland, right?
Yes. Yes, they had their fun in New York, and we're going to show them how it's done in Cleveland, and then we're going to go back. The pressure's going to be on, like, oh, is Aaron Judge going to blow it? We have this big roster. First of all, we've given the Yankees – they took all our good players for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. We gave them Manny Ramirez. We gave them CC Sabathia. So, it's like – you guys can have them, and we're still going to dominate tonight. So I'm feeling good. Now I'm good about the Browns.
Yankees at Cleveland tonight at 5 o'clock Eastern, and then this evening, primetime, Dodgers at the Mets at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, thanks. Now, when you were a kid, did you have a signed baseball glove by a member of the then-called Cleveland Indians?
Oh, God. He's asking
I didn't have a signed baseball, but I had a signed baseball glove, but I did have a signed baseball signed by Joey Bell before he changed his name to Albert Bell. And he was one of the original. He was the kind of person that I miss now, which is just a legitimate crazy person. He famously chased some Halloween trick-or-treaters that egged his house down the street.
Yes.
He was just a fun, crazy guy. And now everybody's got media savvy and training, and they say the right things after the game. He was a crazy person. I like a good
usually today's crazy people, it's usually domestic violence or sexual assault, whereas those days it's chasing kids throwing eggs. Fun, crazy. Good point.
It's the fun, harmless. The kids are fine. They got a story to tell at parties now.
Yeah, I had a mitt signed by the great Bob Feller. Ooh. That's right. One of the greats of all time.
He pitched for the Guardians/Indians as well. Wait, can you call them the Guardians if they were the Indians, or do they go back and change the record books?
No, I think you can't. He was a Cleveland Indian. That's what they called them then.
Yeah.
Who knows? I was listening to one of the radio broadcasts, and the guy slipped twice and called them the Indians. So,
yes.
It's easy. I mean, I still say Oakland Raiders half the time. You just get in that groove.
San Diego Chargers, for God's sake.
Sure. But I also had a baseball card signed by the great Vic Davalillo from Venezuela. Vic passed away earlier this year. I was very upset.
Where are all
I've
your
never heard. He sounds like a guy that used to work with my dad.
Oh, no kidding?
No, he just sounds like that's one of those names that you just don't hear anymore. It's an old school name, which I like.
Yeah. I got a Vic Davalillo ball in my office.
Do you?
Signed by Mr. Davalillo. I certainly do. Oh. Yeah. He wasn't a great player, but he was nice enough to sign my ball.
I may or may not have, and Josh joined me one afternoon. We may or may not have gone into your office, taken that ball, and rubbed it on our crotches. We may or may not have done that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now, Tom?
No, I really want to take it to bed with me.
That's exactly what we were. Why waste your time with that, Jeff?
Put it under my pillow.
Take us to bed.
We're talking with comedian Al Jackson.
I didn't see that coming.
Al, do you have a lot of now you're kind of doing your stand-up thing again full time? Do you have a lot of gigs lined up?
My agent apparently is lining a tour up for me. I just don't understand the business, I think. So I've been doing a lot of that on my own. I'm trying to get a tour together, but I'm one of those comics. I just worked on my jokes, and I'm not a business guy. So luckily, my girl is. So she's helping me with logistics and everything. I wish I had been born either 10 years sooner towards the comedy boom, or 10 years later where I mastered the internet and knew how important. I remember talking to friends of mine like, why would a comic have an Instagram? What are you going to do? Take pictures of your food? I remember literally saying those words, and now those comics are headlining theaters.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's just,
Yeah.
I really caught the tail end of guys that, grew up idolizing Richard Pryor and Chris Rock, and I was just like, I'm just going to go out every night and get good at stand-up. And then you're like, why are these comics working so hard on their social media? What are you trying to do? Get a date?
Yeah.
And you realize, like, oh, that's important. All right.
Al, I tell you what, I'll come out. I'll host a bunch of shows. We'll call it the Ebony and Ivory Tour. What do you think? How about that, Al?
I am absolutely down, and
Damn
you think
right.
I'm joking.
No,
I am so down. I'm sure that will cause some blogs to be written.
And we'll sing Ebony and Ivory at the end of every show with a piano player.
We
How
would
about
be
that?
terrible.
How about you, me, and Josh? Well, you, me, Josh, and Algo. We call it
Ebony and
three
Ivory and Ivory and
three
Ivory.
white guys. And no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, the Rat Pack is what it would be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Sammy. You can be Sammy, of course.
Yes.
And okay.
We can shake it up.
Yeah.
Like Hamilton. We'll mix it
Oh
up.
yeah, how you feel about that?
There we
Josh?
go. A 6'4" black George Washington. That's who was playing George Washington when I went.
Yeah, I'll never watch
All right,
it.
I'm feeling it.
I'll never go see it. Hamilton was a white man. And I refuse to see him be.
Do you know that they think there's a really good chance that Hamilton's father wasn't his father?
Oh, is that right?
He was
His
black, right?
Yeah, he's from the Caribbean.
he was from the Caribbean. His mom got around, and his best friend looked just like him.
You mean Hambone Hamilton?
Yeah, his best friend looked just like him, and people would mistake his best friend for him all the time. And it
This
turns.
poor woman did nothing to you. You don't know.
No,
that
I'm just
she
saying. No.
slept
It's
around.
very likely
She
that
got
it's
around.
very likely that Hamilton's father was not Mr. Hamilton.
I
Well,
mean,
that's cool.
Tom,
Anything else boring you want to tell us?
No, it's fascinating.
Well, that's part of the
We're talking
reason I
about
think-
it's Al because we're questioning the fatherhood of everyone in the room today, discussing the fact that Josh's mother doesn't love him. So,
Tom, I have to ask this. Has anybody in that room, because this has happened to me, this was before things were more transparent because of the internet, you could still hide things. Have you ever met a family and there is one child that definitely did not come from that mother and no one addresses it?
are you aware
'Cause
who
they're-
the room you're sitting in?
Like, no.
No.
Pat, you want to take this?
What?
What?
Oh, is this topic
I don't know if I can speak.
not for air? Okay, never
I had a
mind.
cousin Margaret who we all
okay.
went, well, she doesn't come from that family. Turns out she didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's raised,
Maggie
Okay.
got,
was
she
sired
got
by-
around, right?
Yes, she was sired by an uncle, and my grandmother took her in.
Ah, gotcha.
All
I
kinds
think there was a lot of
Back
that.
in the day, I think
yeah,
you're right.
Irish families. Ooh,
Yeah.
man.
My grandmother's raised kids that were really
Yes.
their grandkids, but they
And Al, did you ever
pawned them
have this
off as their
happen?
Kids.
A buddy of mine was kind of hot and heavy with this young lady, and then she met her dad, and she looked exactly like her dad in drag, and he couldn't go on.
No, my penis has very poor eyesight.
No, it was so. It happened in a little burg called Hudson, Ohio. It's a true story. Yeah, this woman looked exactly. I mean, she looked just like her father if he had long hair and women's clothing, and it completely freaked him out. He couldn't.
Oh,
Was unable to.
A little. Sometimes I've dated girls where they look just like their brother, and it's a little weird. But I just tried not to hang with the brother that much.
there you go.
Yeah, okay. Well, now the purpose of our program, of course, is to learn about the American language, as we call it, and
Yes, sir.
things happening in the street world. As I want to become more street, so I can relate to people. Because as you know, Al, I relate to almost no one. So what do we got today, Al?
Oh, Tom. Well, it hurt me a couple weeks ago when I heard that Gen Alpha was using the word Ohio in what I consider to be a pejorative manner, seeing as that is my beloved great home state.
Of course.
But I've heard another phrase attached to it that made me feel a little better. So, Tom, why don't you tell everybody what Ohio Riz is?
Ohio Riz. Well,
Yes.
I know what Riz is.
Oh, do you?
What is it?
Go on.
It's like
Want some help?
charisma.
Yeah, there you
so
Right.
So Ohio Riz would be the charismatic aspects of, say, the great Paul Newman from Shaker Heights, Ohio, adjacent to Beechwood, Ohio, where our guest Al Jackson hails from. Is that correct, Al? Did I get it right?
That is it's correct. I am from Beechwood. The answer is half correct. Ohio Riz means that you have a weird charisma that just draws you in a little bit. Almost like maybe I'm thinking maybe like a Martin Short. It's not the charisma that like who's like John Hamm would have, where every woman's like, oh my God. It's more like, I don't know why do I like this guy? It's just kind of like a weird kind of charisma.
Oh, so there's
you're
really
like,
there's no geographical component to it then. You don't have to be from Ohio to have it.
The Ohio means weird to kids under 16 years old.
Really?
So so Ohio is just like you would say like our normal bar was closed, so we went down to that one on the corner we've never been in, and it was super Ohio in there. And it's like, so that would be like a little weird, but the Ohio Riz makes it a good thing. So I like that phrase.
That is really interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Now, Tom, here's one that I really like. Want to know if you know what this means. What is plus 1 million aura? When would you ever use that phrase?
Plus 1 million aura?
Aura.
A-U-R-A, aura?
Yes, sir.
Plus 1 million aura. Anybody?
Sounds really good,
idea.
whatever it is.
Aura. Well, aura's good. Well, aura can be negative.
So
I guess.
someone's aura is so good, you add 1 million to it. Is that just a great
That's right.
aura? It's plus 1 million.
Yeah.
Like she's
I
not
wanna
a
be around that
she's
person.
not a 10. She's a 10 plus 1 million. She's got that
Yeah.
plus 1 million aura. Is that close?
That's it. It's just like you would just say, have you ever met Christy? Oh, you haven't met her? Dude, she's got plus 1 million aura. Like it's just
that's
saying like
sweet.
she's good people. She got good vibes around her.
Yeah, but her
Most of
husband's
the
but her
time.
husband's all Ohio.
He's not weird.
No, I'm just trying to use it in a sentence.
Oh,
Your
okay.
husband's not weird.
No, I think it's nice that you don't think he's weird. That's nice.
I don't think he's weird.
Where did the Ohio thing emerge
Why
in
do
culture?
people
How did
think-
that happen?
yeah,
Is there some rapper that's weird or some famous person from Ohio that is?
Weird?
No, it's because this generation that I'm looking at their language now is Gen Alpha, which are my kids, which I believe is like 20 and under, maybe 21 and under. So it's just like they're 30, 40 years younger than us. So like whatever, I think a lot of stuff, even this next one I'm going to ask you, a lot of it comes from famous like YouTube and Twitch streams, and then it just becomes part of the popular culture. So, Tom, I got to ask you, this one is very difficult.
Okay, go ahead.
But what is a phantom tax? Phantom, F-A-N-U-M tax, like April 15 tax.
Does that mean someone is a stan? They're too much of a fan. So you he needs the phantom tax. Do something to get him to calm down.
No, but the confidence in which you answered that, I was like, oh, he knows this.
I know, right?
That's not correct, but like I like you went with the gusto. I dig it.
I know if there is a phantom tax, I know somehow I'm going to have to pay it. I know that much. Anybody have any guesses?
No.
Man, I don't know.
If you fan somebody in baseball, you strike them out. So I don't
fire,
know.
maybe.
Yeah.
Is it fan as in one who appreciates a particular artist? That kind of fan?
I will give you a hint.
Okay.
Phantom is kind of like a mispronunciation of the word phantom.
Okay, that's what I was
That's what I was
thinking.
thinking.
Yeah, phantom tax. Like,
I'm still.
It's a tough one, but it's
tipping?
weird. What's that?
Tipping?
No, but phantom tax just means like you're stealing something on the low. So if Christy was eating French fries and Josh reached over and grabbed one, he'd just be like phantom tax.
gotcha. Okay.
It's just like low level stealing from
Yeah.
your friends.
Uh-huh.
Like when Josh leaves his wallet open and I take $100.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that?
phantom tax.
No, that's stealing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
No, it's partially Josh's fault for leaving it laying around.
Just teach him a lesson.
Yeah, that's the tax I pay.
That's the phantom tax. Al Jackson is our guest. Comedian Al Jackson can be found at the Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, along with the very handsome Jeff Oskey, the very handsome Pat Godwin, and the staggeringly handsome, there's no Ohio in that boy, it's Josh Arnold. That's going to be the Friday night, October 25th. Don't miss that show, grandfallscasinoresort.com for all the information. Thank you, Al.
Hey, I love y'all.
And